I am recording.
Same.
It's official.
Nope.
No.
Too soon?
It's not now.
Literally too soon, and it's not your week. Oh, it is your week.
Yeah, so I did it.
It is your week. From Mariko, what's going on with your studio display?
The setup is finished.
Wow, that
Okay.
happened fast.
Mission accomplished. Can I get a huge banner, behind me?
Unfurls.
It's a
Everyone's
mission
clapping.
accomplished, and I'm standing in front of a microphone to declare that my desk is finalized. Wait, no.
Oh, stop!
Oh,
Stop,
no,
WWDC,
no,
stop!
no,
Stop!
no.
Everyone stop, June 5th to 9th. We got to stop now.
Are you serious?
I'm serious,
Yep.
It's just happened. Underscore
Come
send it to
on.
me. So everybody stop, I got to book plane tickets. This is got to happen right now.
WWDC. Guys, can we chat in a bit?
Yep, got to go do that. Bye!
Bye.
Bye, see ya.
Bye.
All right, so hotel's booked.
Yeah.
We've been gone an hour.
Hotel booked. Flights
Flight
booked.
Check.
I told my mom. So there's also that.
That's always good. That's an important part. I haven't told my mum yet. Shall I stop the show and go tell my mum?
I can
20
tell her.
minutes
I'm
later.
going to see her later.
Ooh.
Why? What is that? What is this?
Oh, she's a lovely lady, Stephen. Come on.
Both of your moms are lovely ladies. WWDC has been announced June 5th through the 9th. Myke, what is Apple up to? Can you tell us about this?
So it looks like kind of what we were expecting, which is probably a more put together version of last year. So like things seem a little bit clearer. And we can all, and I mean, I think it also helps that we have something to compare it to, right? So special event is like the day, keynote, State of the Union, Design Awards on the 5th. They're offering an in-person, like, portion of the show.
Yeah, like last year.
Right? Like in person, you can come in, you can apply. They've got a bunch of different ways you can apply, actually, which has seemed intriguing to me, right? So you can apply as a developer, an Apple Entrepreneur Camp alumni, Swift Student Challenge, or Apple Developer Enterprise Program member. Invitations will be allocated by a random selection process, notified of your status by April 5th. So only a week from today, that's surprising. So yeah, that's what they're doing. And then there's a bunch of health and safety measures, but it doesn't feel like there's, at least right now, there are no strict COVID measures. It's like, hey, if you're not feeling good, stay at home.
Take care of yourself at home. Yeah, that's literally what is written on the website.
Yeah, I mean, and then it says stay connected. We'll be posting WWDC announcements leading up to and during the conference. Like during, of like
Stay connected.
connected. But I like this idea of
connected.
like we'll be posting announcements like during the conference. It's like, you can imagine like someone's still at home on Tuesday and then it's like, oh, this thing's happening on Thursday. I'm on my way, baby. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. It's happened.
It's happened.
I think we're all pretty tired now because we had to go deal with that.
Yeah, I kind of feels unreal. I haven't done this in 3 years, and I kind of forgot how to book plane tickets to the US. So I don't know. It was a whole experience for like 20 minutes, and I was texting Myke, sort of double checking every step of the way. I don't know. We're gonna be together in person.
There was this weird moment when Federico was like, "Just can you tell me the 4 last digits of your credit card?" I don't know why he needed that. But yeah, I gave it to him because he was trying to book his flights.
I was very confused, and usually like when I book plane tickets, I get like a little notification from my credit card company, and this time I didn't, so that was cool.
I will just say, in all seriousness, Federico did kind of hint to the fact of like, "Are you booking my plane ticket for me?" Like that was the thing he asked me.
No, I just wanted to double check because you were telling me dates and times, and I was like, well, the last time we went there,
historically, I have booked tickets for you.
I was like,
just book them together.
I was on the airline website booking them myself. I was like, wait, is Myke booking them? Like, just let me double check. I was not expecting you to book them for me, given that we have a different sort of flight organization and schedule this time around. All good.
I'm pretty excited. I'm hoping.
Me too.
I feel confident I'll get to do it this time.
Well,
So that's good. Second time's the charm.
yeah.
What are you making that sound for? What is wrong with you?
Why?
What is wrong with you? Why did you do
Just
this?
clear my throat.
What is wrong with you? Why
Have
would you
done
bring
anything
this to me?
Stephen today? First, that
This
joke
isn't
and-
fair. Like, first, you made a joke about my mum, which I'm going to keep referencing so you can't edit it out. Second, you're like putting this like jinx on me or this curse on me for some reason. I don't even know why this is
Curse.
necessary.
You've been cursed by Stephen.
I'm just saying, for the 2 weeks before WC, you don't go anywhere. Just stay at home. Don't.
Well, I mean, I've got to go somewhere.
No,
which is
no, you don't.
To California. Like, why can't
other than that, don't go out to the shops or I don't know,
shops?
whatever
I like
you do.
So what is it, the 5th?
Yeah,
So 2 weeks before would be what, the 22nd? Yeah, I can do that.
you are in quarantine for 2 weeks before this.
I do see on my calendar, which is kind of funny, Comic-Con London. Yeah, we're not doing that.
No, take that off your calendar right now.
Sorry, honey, we're not going. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
We're not going. No Comic-Con. That's not happening.
Have you ever been
Maybe
to a
next
Comic-Con
time.
before? I haven't.
No.
I've been to the Italian version of a Comic-Con.
What? Wait, what does that entail?
Well, but it's like not like Robert Downey Jr. is not there, which is like the same as London Comic-Con.
No.
They're just like, it's like the non-celebrity part of a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
It's like the actual Comic-Con.
Yes. It's called Romix. It's Rome and Comics.
Mm.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
We've spoken about this before because
Have
there
I?
was
I
a
think-
listener, right?
Oh,
it was an
yeah.
artist.
Yeah.
We've spoken about this
That's
before.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like,
We
I'm
spoke
giving a
about
TED
this last
talk.
year.
Oh, where? Oh, TEDx. Well, that's not a TED talk. That's like it's that sort of thing, right? It's like
Yeah.
your own
Well,
version
but
of
no,
it.
you see, I think this is one of those things that's just got warped over time. Comic-Cons were always what this is, where it's just like a bunch of artists selling their stuff, and you can go get your comic signed and meet people and then like
Then big Comic-Con
Hollywood
came
moved
in.
in. Hollywood came in, right, and was like, "Oh, these Marvel movies they make us a lot of money. Let's do our announcements at Comic-Con." And now, like, just non-comic movies get announced at Comic-Con. It's just like, this is nothing. Like, why are we doing this? But anyway, WWDC is not a Comic-Con.
No.
I'm interested.
It kind of is. What if we started, you could like
Set
bring
up
a
a
book about
stall?
Apple and get it signed by somebody. You could dress
So
up
we
as
could all
Tim
just
Cook.
set up our own little stalls outside, couldn't we? Like outside of Apple Park, we'll just get our own little tables and stuff.
Yeah, we got merch. We can bring merch.
Yeah,
We
sure.
could do Apple Executive cosplays.
Exactly.
Oh my god!
I call
we
Eddie Q.
could. That's a good one to call. I'll call Tim, but I got a lot of work to do in the gym before I can try and pull that one off. You know what I mean?
Just arm day
I'll
though.
call Federico. Can you be John Turnus, please? For no specific
Yeah.
reason.
Yes. Yes.
Can you do that for me? Thank you.
I'll be John Turnus for you, Mike.
I appreciate that. You could
Yeah.
actually do. I think with the right glasses, you could do a Steve Jobs, Federico. I think you could pull that off.
Ooh, I could do young Steve Jobs.
Yeah,
Yeah, like Michael
Yeah,
Fassbender.
yeah. You
Who?
could cosplay as Michael Fassbender, as
That's
Steve
not a
Jobs from the
cosplay.
movie.
That's not a cosplay. Is that like one of those fake names that ChatGPT came up with?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, write a fake movie with a bunch of actors that don't
I mean, you
exist.
have watched that movie.
Which movie?
Jobs, the Steve Jobs
No,
movie.
No, I've never seen it.
There's a
don't
whole
know what
member
you're talking
special where we
about.
spoke about it for like an hour.
No, it wasn't me.
It's a hallucination. It's like one of those.
It was my
one of
voice
those AI
synthesized
hallucinations.
by someone else. It wasn't me.
I'm not staying in San Jose this time. After my last experience, I have made the decision that I will never stay in San Jose ever again in my life.
I'm just saying where Mike told me to stay.
Yeah.
So
If Apple brought WWDC back to San Jose, I would not stay there. Like, I had one of the worst weeks of my life in San Jose. I will never go there again.
never coming back.
I will come in and out, right?
You've
Like, if
been
there's things to
banished.
do, I'll come in and out. But staying there, no, not happening. I won't do it. I'm never staying there ever again. So, bye, San Jose. You're terrible. And I hate you. And I'm never going there again. If you live in San Jose, move. I don't know what to tell you. Right? I didn't make the rules.
Hey, quick question for you
Mm-hmm.
guys. It's just totally unrelated to the. Well, it's kind of related to this topic for a reason I'll get to in a minute. the new MacBook Airs. When are we thinking they will be released?
Anytime from now until like July.
Yeah.
This is extremely unhelpful.
Are you buying another Mac?
And I need a travel computer, and it cannot be a desktop.
I mean, I would just get the M2 MacBook Air. Like and you're going to be perfectly happy. Like the M3 MacBook Air is just going to be a bit faster, but the M2 MacBook Air is faster than you need for literally anything that you do on it.
It's not the 15-inch though. But I mean,
why would you want a 15? Why would you want a 15-inch? Though?
New kid in town.
Then get a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and like you'll hate it.
No, too heavy.
Right. I would seriously, even when the 15 comes out, like I don't think you're gonna want that. Like if you want a travel computer, why would you want a big one?
Yeah, you're right. I should get the 13. I should get the one you have.
I would wait.
I got one for sale.
I would wait until like late May.
Why is John texting me right now saying you will not be happy with the M2? Don't do it.
What is wrong with John? John, that's bad advice.
Interesting.
Well, John is
interesting. This is. He says, I 100% would wait for the 15-inch M3.
See, John is he's trying to like, why is he being like this? One true instigator. What is going on over there?
I love this. I love this debate.
Well, I tell you what. Why don't you just wait for what John tells you to do and see how you feel? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or what, can you, so Myke, your computer, is it the midnight one?
Yeah,
do you have it in
baby. Yeah, baby.
Can you send me pictures later?
Yeah.
Can you send me some Mac pics?
I'll send
later?
you some Mac pics. Don't you worry about that.
Some hot Mac
Don't
content.
you worry about that.
Thank you. Okay, so yes, that was unrelated too, but sort of related because of travel.
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about. So
We know what he's talking about.
Yeah, you don't want to be the person on the plane with a Mac Mini and a studio display.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. That's not a good look.
That's right.
That's not a good look. That's not a good look.
Yeah.
John adds, I know you well. You will be unhappy. He does know me well.
I don't know what he thinks the M3 is going to get you that the M2...
No, I think John thinks he wants a bigger one.
Yeah, but maybe he does, but he's not going to like putting that in his backpack.
I do. I have a pretty big backpack.
Well, here's the thing, right? John, like, fine, but like, if you need it for this trip and it doesn't exist, well, then you're going to be really unhappy, right? So, like, that's the reason.
That's the problem. See, that's my problem.
Right. If you want it for this trip, the most unhappy Mac will be the one that doesn't exist. That's like a ancient proverb.
That's very wise. That's a piece of wisdom.
Like, so what I said is, I think this one is fine for you, but wait until like 2 weeks before WWDC before you buy it. So then, like, you've left it as late as possible, and you should go buy one. That would be my recommendation to you.
Okay.
And John, if you got a problem with that, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, get your own podcast, John.
Get your own podcast. And you could tell him, you have like 7 podcasts with Federico. Just wait and tell him on one of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. App Stories, more like Mac Stories. Oh.
You have nailed it. Nailed it. From Relay FM, this is Connected, episode 443. Today's show is brought to you by Squarespace, Capital One, Fast Growing Trees, and SetApp. My name is Myke Hurley, and I'm joined by Federico Viticci. Hi, Federico.
Hello, Myke Hurley. How are you?
I'm good. This is chaos.
Chaotic episode. This is
absolutely chaotic episode. Stephen made a joke about my mom.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna keep dropping that in. Sorry about that. I don't know. Yeah, it was really unfortunate, right? And then he made a joke about how I was gonna get sick and miss WWDC for the second time.
I didn't know. I just said that you should make precautions.
Who introduced you? No one introduced you. What are you talking for? I'm just talking to Federico. It's just me and Federico having a conversation. I don't know what you're doing here.
I mean, I'm fine to go. I'd like to go for a walk.
You do this to me every time, so you got to leave it. You just got to take it. Listeners know every time I say something, because you two are talking about me, you tell me I can't speak. So now you can't speak. When Federico's ready to introduce you, you can join the show. But I don't know when that's going to be. I ain't got no control over that.
Should I? I don't know.
We could just do this. You could just sit there.
It didn't exactly behave before this, you know? It is my pleasure.
Well, no. Make him promise no more mum jokes. and then he can come on the show.
Okay, if you promise, Stephen, no more mom jokes against me or Myke, I will introduce you. But because you cannot speak yet, if you agree, knock on your desk twice. No, that was once.
Well, I assume.
It
Hold on,
doesn't
we're
wo-
gonna
it
harmonize.
doesn't
We're
wo-
gonna harmonize.
Drop.
Yeah, I heard
Okay,
There
it is my pleasure to introduce also to the show Mr. Stephen Hackett. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, boys.
Hello.
Hi. You promised
I
to be a
haven't
good
broken
boy
my
and
promise yet.
behave. Okay, just reminding you.
Today is chaos.
Should we take our first break?
I need a drink. What? I only have water here. Okay.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for building your brand or growing your business online. It really doesn't matter what you're looking for. If you got a small business and you got things to sell, or you want to write or host a podcast, maybe you're building a site to be part of your resume. Whatever it is, Squarespace has you covered. They have great SEO tools so you can make sure that your site is gaining and maximizing prominence among search results. Everyone's using Bing now. You got to make sure you're in there with Bing. With Squarespace's SEO tools, you can. You can also sell products in an online store, physical or digital, and you can use their really cool email campaigns to get visitors onto an email list and keep them in the loop. I love building on Squarespace. It's my favorite platform to build on because it is so flexible and it's really easy to get something up and running that looks awesome. And of course, with Squarespace, it looks great on all different sizes of screen, different devices. They have all the tools for that, all built in. Head on over to squarespace.com/connected for a free trial. There's no credit card required. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code CONNECTED to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Once again, that's squarespace.com/connected. And when you decide to sign up, use the offer code CONNECTED to get 10% off your first purchase and to show your support for the show. Our thanks to Squarespace for supporting Connected and all of Relay FM.
Follow up.
I have something I need to talk to y'all about. Okay.
Okay. Is it bad?
No, that's not great. It's not bad.
Oh, so it's kind of bad.
During the Aries last week, there was a scoring mistake made by me.
Oh my God.
As is the way anytime we score anything on this show.
This is the way.
So there is a
No. I conducted many quizzes and made one mistake. You have made mistakes in 100% of your quizzes.
that feels a little harsh, to be fair. But I heard it in the edit. It was too late to fix it, but it does not, thankfully, change the outcome. But the correct scoring now is Myke 11, Federico 7.
What was it? What was the error?
Well, if you click the link in the show notes, you can hear it because I have an overcast little video that contains it. It was the question about the MacBook Air and the weight. How much did the original MacBook Air weigh? And is it more or less than the current M2 MacBook Air?
Less than a pound, and it's less than today's model.
I'll also say less than a pound because I have no idea, and more than today's model.
Okay, so Federico wins. It was 3 pounds. The M2 weighs 2.7, so it was slightly more than the Air. Y'all are both off, but Federico's less wrong, so
Okay.
Federico gets it.
Wait, how do we define less wrong? It didn't sound right to me at the time, which is why I questioned it. I didn't know what was going on.
But you didn't ask a question that made me think I scored it wrong. You were like, "Oh, didn't we do an over/under on a previous question?" And so
yeah.
it's really your fault.
So what you're saying is I scored even more points.
No, it's 11.
Correct.
You have 11. Federico has 7. That's the.
But what did I have before? Did I have 10 before?
You had 10 before.
So I have scored more points.
Yes. But you already had. You just hadn't been awarded them. Anyways, the banana phone. Moving on. First off, an anonymous Canadian apologized for the song mentioned last week.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. The banana
Well,
phone.
this is the last one because we've gotten to the bottom.
How do you know?
Well, it is the last thing because I'm not going to put it in the document again after this. So
Okay.
it's really it's up to us what we talk about. A bunch of people wrote this in. I'm giving credit to Scott because he was first. I would like to point out that Nokia made a phone called the banana phone. It was the Nokia 8110. You may recognize it because Neo used one in the first Matrix movie. And then they re-released it because Nokia was everyone over there was just doing wild things. They re-released it, a 4G version of it. I'm now convinced that this is what the passionate ones were referencing when they said they used a banana phone.
No.
But now it's done. Now we know everything we could know about banana phones. Federico, would you like to take a victory lap around the iPhone action button?
Well, based on the information we have so far, I will take a half a victory lap because I mean all of this is rumor so far. Specifically today, we got 2 stories from Mac Rumors citing a source from the Mac Rumors forums that were correct before about the dynamic island last year. So Mac Rumors tends to believe this source.
Yes.
First, we got a report saying that the iPhone 15 Pro will have a brand new system for the low energy chip, like the system that sort of was managing the Find My network before when your phone, when your iPhone turns off, but it still remains findable even if it's off. Well, apparently in the iPhone 15 Pro, the system will be reworked with, and I'm quoting, a new ultra low energy microprocessor that, in addition to that functionality, will also allow these solid state buttons on the iPhone 15 Pro to remain functional even when your phone is off and the battery has, in theory, ran out. So this is interesting because, a lot of us are concerned about, these quote-unquote fake buttons not being clickable anymore if the phone is off, sort of like what was happening with the iPhone 7 and the fake home button. And it seems like Apple is thinking about this and maybe coming up with a better system for making those buttons click even if the phone is turned off. And the second story is about how, in fact, Apple may be thinking about making this new mute ring switch, this new button, essentially, that replaces the mute switch, an action button, as I theorized / hoped for last week here on the show. And they say Apple's exact implementation remains to be seen, but some of the ideas are essentially what we talked about last week, like run a shortcut, open Shazam, do not disturb, toggle the flashlight, toggle low power mode, and so forth. The idea being that some of these features, if you think about it, most of them already have a shortcut, as in like a system shortcut in the Shortcuts app, but they're also already supported in some of those features, like, for example, the accessibility stuff, like back tap, for example, that allows you to run a specific feature of your iPhone if you tap the back of your phone twice or 3 times. I don't remember that.
Or if you just sit it down the wrong way. I guess
yes, also that.
It's a little finicky.
And the rumor goes Apple is actually thinking about the system with an action button that is like the Apple Watch Ultra, but more flexible because of all the different things you can do on the phone.
I think it makes a ton of sense to make iPhone hardware more flexible and more powerful in a way that is not just, the silicon's faster, because at some point, like, that kind of doesn't matter anymore. But having your phone have a programmable bit of hardware, like, that is really interesting. And it made me think. So back in the day, way back in the day, I used a Motorola Droid for a while. And it, like a lot of Android phones in the day, had a LED status light. And there were apps you could download that would change what the LED status light could do. So if I got a work email, it could flash red, or if I had a text message, it could flash green. And I don't think Apple should do that. But I just remember how cool it was that I had control over how the hardware worked the way I could make it do what I wanted it to do in a way that the iPhone kind of never has had. And so I hope that they do this, and I hope they just open it up and in a way that even beyond the Apple Watch Ultra, where this could really be different people could use it for different things, however they want. I think in particular, there's a lot of interesting things they could do with accessibility, because you can in iOS have that floating palette, and you can tie some accessibility controls into that. But how great would it be if you could double click or triple click or touch or swipe or something this action button, and it changes modes in terms of accessibility depending on what you're doing? Like, so many cool things to come out of this, and I am super psyched for it.
I like the idea for us. I'm unconvinced for the average user still about, like, you press the button, what does it mean? Like, are you muted or not? Like, you know, I feel like we will be able to work that out, but I don't know, right? Like, if the Switch will be better or not for most people. But would I like the idea of a customizable button that I could do anything with? Yes, I very much would like that, right? Because that tap back thing never worked for me.
Yeah.
Like, in a way that felt good. And I know it was just like taking advantage of an accessibility feature, but this would, I assume, do more of that. Like, I would really love to be able to, as many people have said, like, have a button to take a picture, right? Like, that feels like something that would be pretty cool. I know you can do it with the volume stuff, but I don't know, maybe it'd be nicer to actually just have like a real button you could press and it's just like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, and just like a bunch of things, it would be nice, right? Like, as you said, like triple click it, get a flashlight, double click it, and I don't know, send a text to Stephen.
Ooh, like that.
Fun. But I guess my question is, though, you two have action buttons, right? It doesn't really feel like you're using your action buttons to their fullest. So do you really think the iPhone action button would be better than the Watch action button?
How would you know I'm not using it to the fullest? What?
Because we told him we're both using it for the flashlight.
No, I changed it again.
Oh, what are you doing?
Just running my shortcut to save ideas in Notion. I figured out.
Oh, so it's a Notion button.
Notion, but
Notion Nation, yes. It's a Notion action. Notion action, yes.
I do worry that they're not going to push it as far as we want, that it'll basically be what the Apple Watch is, which, like, it would be cool. Now, it'd be cool to tie it to a shortcut, and that would get a lot of people, you know, a lot of different places on iOS, but who knows? What did y'all think about the part of this rumor, and it was in one of the Mac rumors stories, about it being like swipeable, where you could like swipe the volume up or down?
Now, that is something I've wanted for a long time.
Okay.
From Android phones. Where you could swipe the fingerprint sensors and get the notifications to come down.
Yeah, that is cool.
Now, I would love that. Or like if you're reading an article, you've got your phone in your hand, you just swipe like a thumb. Like, oh my God, it's like Blackberries. When they had the wheels. Give it to me. That's what I want.
I
want a little button.
You wanna swipe on the buttons to do
why not?
more stuff?
You've just reinvented the digital crown. I think.
Give me the crown sideways on my iPhone. I just feel like it would be more comfortable with the way that I hold my phone, because I got my thumb where the button is right now. If I just move my thumb up and down rather than like doing the swipe on the thing, like that would be kind of cool. But realistically, my main thing would be like, I would love to be able to use it to pull down the notifications without reaching up for the notifications.
Yeah.
Because like it's effectively what reachability can do for you without needing to have reachability, right? That it brings that activation field down lower.
Yeah.
And plus, I don't know what you guys feel about this if you have this issue. Since the dynamic island, it is way more complicated to get the notifications to come down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like I'm spending way more time in Control Center than I want to be. Like, I'm finding this with my iPhone. I mean, the iPhone's big too, right? So if I'm trying to do it one-handed, my right hand or whatever, trying to get to the right area to get the notification shade to come down is complicated. So I'm struggling with that a little bit. But so I would quite like to be able to swipe down on the, say, the power button or whatever and get the notification straw to come down. That'd be pretty cool.
Interesting. And maybe that part could also be programmable, actually.
Yeah, I mean, 2 swipes down and 1 swipe up. Send a message to my mom. You know? Let's go wild with this one. 3 swipes up and 1 swipe to the left. Activate my favorite Siri shortcut. You know, like all that kind of stuff. That's what I want to do, baby.
What you've done is you've turned the side of the iPhone into like the world's tiniest but most complicated trackpad. Like, how many gestures can you fit in something that's an eighth of an inch wide? Anything else about this? I mean, it seems like there's a lot of smoke here that these buttons are going to change. I think it's just a matter of how much functionality Apple can and wants to put in there. I do think this is one of those times where Apple looks at this as like, okay, we want to get rid of these buttons for whatever reason, but so that's like a negative, right? We want to like take something away from the phone, but in its place, we could do something new and cooler. And sometimes that works for Apple. Other times we get the touch bar. And so I'm cautiously optimistic about this, but just thinking about other times where Apple has really redefined its hardware and have had to walk it back that's not unprecedented either.
And I also feel like it would be very much like an Apple thing to do to, move away from a physical button that does one thing and one thing only to a more sort of customizable thing. I mean, that was like, if you really want to do the throwback, to the, iPhone introduction keynote, when Jobs said, like, what we don't love about these existing current smartphones is that they have this keyboard, and this keyboard in the lower half, it's always going to be stuck like that. It can never be changed. And the great thing about software is that you can change it. And so if you think about it, it would be very much an Apple move to say, well, why do we have a physical button in our most important device that does one thing only? And we realize over the years that only 15% of people use it on a regular basis, and maybe 85% of people or something, or just, it doesn't have to be that big, but like, what if even 60% of people never touch it and they always keep it in silent mode? Wouldn't it be worth it to say, well, maybe we should make it a more software thing,
Why? I mean, I have who needs a stylus? I have 10 of these fingers that can tap buttons, Who needs a stylus for the button? Not me.
What if it's a touch-sensitive button, a smart connector, and a periscope camera? Are you getting it? These are not three sides of the phone. They're one side.
What did he say? What if it's a full-sized button with touch-sensitive controls?
Yeah, that's good.
There was just something in the way that you said it, like the tone of your voice, was what made me know you were making that joke. That's kind of incredible, right? That's how ingrained that moment is in our history.
These are not three separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
And just the internet communicator was just a dud. It turns out that's all the phone is, really, at the end of the day. Remember the music app was called iPod for so long. Do you ever just think about that?
Oh, that's weird.
It's so strange.
No, I don't normally think about that, but it sounds like you do.
All the time.
Yeah, that seems like. But what a demotion, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if they released the headset and there was an app called iPhone?
Yeah.
Right? The iPod was the biggest thing in the world. And they were just like, oh, we're just reducing that to just a piece of software on our new device. I guess the real one would be like Myke has just said it in the Discord, if we had a Mac app on the iPad or something, right?
Yeah.
Which is what we want. I mean, it's what I want there to be.
You're going to have a Mac app on the headset. Mm-hmm. It's just going to be called Mac, and you click it, or I don't know, tap it.
In all seriousness, I could actually imagine that one.
Yeah, yes.
Right? There's an app just called Mac, and it's how you get to the stuff.
To your desktop environment, yes. I actually, they should just do Mac app on the iPad too, and it's like virtualization for Mac OS. Or here's an idea, and I would actually, this is silly, but hear me out. So if the headset is going to have a macOS sort of wireless streaming mode, or, that basically you connect to your computer, I wouldn't hate it, all right, if the iPad could do it too. I'm gonna keep my Mac somewhere in the house, and I'm just because it's gonna be better than doing VNC, which is what I do now from time to time.
You know, here's you could be in the headset.
Yes.
You virtualizing to your Mac.
Yes.
You
Go
then
on.
go with universal control to your iPad. And you go in, you turn the reality dial.
Yes.
And you go into and now you're looking at the iPad.
Then what?
That's your
Okay.
future, Federico. You're aware of this?
So I'm wearing the headset. Okay.
We're in the headset.
There's an iPad and Mac in
No,
front
it's just
of
a
me.
Mac, no iPad.
Okay. So when you say universal control,
Yeah.
where's the iPad?
The iPad's physically in front of you.
Oh,
You
it's
just want to
physically in
control
front
the
of
iPad. You need to
Yes.
do something on the iPad, but you don't have your Mac plugged in. It's just in a closet, right?
Ooh.
So
Okay.
you have to, in the headset,
Yes.
use the Mac, move the
Yes.
mouse over, turn the dial. Now you're in
Yes.
AR mode and you can
Honestly,
use the iPad. That's
if
your future.
If that's not gonna work, I'm gonna be so upset. Like that now that you say it, it needs to be a feature. Like, let me turn the dial and hop onto iPadOS and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very, very meta. That's it.
I think we're in for a while.
No, that's a
next 12
different.
months.
That's a different company.
That's a different company. No, I didn't
Ew.
mean the company.
I'm putting a screenshot in the Discord.
Yeah, it's gonna look like that. It's gonna
That's
look
what's
like
going to
that.
happen. So this is a real screenshot that happened to me probably 15 years ago, where you accidentally VNC into the Mac that you were VNC'd into, and it
It's
just
like
goes
an
on forever.
infinity mirror,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
but for a
Wait,
computer.
how did this happen? You VNC'd?
I VNC'd into the computer that I was VNC'd into already, or you would have been a
How?
loop somehow, because you can see
Oh, okay.
the window names like Wiki Mini and then Mac Server, Wiki Mini Mac Server. This was at a client's forever ago.
iWork 09 install DVD. Nice.
Yeah, look at those icons. Handbrake is on there.
Dymo.
Dymo.
the ASD folder. Mac data. Ooh.
Mac
What
Data.
is,
Mac data.
What is the little Mac?
What do you mean?
Mac data?
There's a Mac. There's like an old Mac in
That's
the
Mac
dock.
Tracker.
Yeah.
I
The
like
old-
how
the
you
old
say
Mac
it like
Tracker
that.
icon.
Like I should just know. Well, that obviously that's Mac Tracker.
It's Mac
the Mac
Tracker,
Tracker app
dummy.
that everybody obviously has.
Is that Word 2003?
It's an old version of Word, that's for sure.
That was the best logo. What is that X next to it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Excel, probably.
We're roasting
No,
a
it's not
doc from
Excel.
2000.
You're roasting a doc from. Let me see what year this was.
Ooh, that's actually a nice idea. Like, for the future, we should consider this. Like, roast my old home screen and so
that's
forth.
good. Mike,
Oh,
put that
that's
in the
good. I
document.
like that. Yeah, I'm onto it. What is the A with wings and what is that weird hat? I want to know all of this.
Is the hat bow tie?
I don't know what it is. This is a client computer I was on, and then on again and again and again and again.
And that client had Mac Tracker?
Yeah,
So many
apparently.
questions.
Well, they're as bad
Somehow I
as
don't believe you, though. Like, that client
Yeah.
had Mac Tracker installed? You put it there.
I know what this is. Okay.
Wait.
No,
Why,
I got
how
it.
could
No.
somebody... No, wait. Before you answer, because I need to just come around on that, because you're going to give us the truth, but I'm doubling down on what Federico's saying here.
Okay.
Like, and also I think I'm starting to see something, which might be what you've realized. Like, I like the way
Yeah.
that you say that. Like, you have to help somebody out with their Mac, but they have Mac Tracker? How would that make any sense?
So what it is, the frame. So
Yes.
the main screenshot, I remember now, was the computer in the office of my Apple authorized service provider. It was like the Mac Pro we had in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
I was then remoting in to another machine,
Yes.
which was remoted into my computer. And so it was down and down we go. So it had Mac Tracker on it because I was using this computer.
Okay, so the other machine is the one with the other dock. So
Yes,
the one,
with the more
okay.
standard OS 10 server dock.
Yes.
So
okay.
was that like a new Mac Centipede or something?
I'm cutting that from the show. That's for sure.
So close.
No, I'll leave it.
Remember you made that joke about my mom?
Listeners will know by now that the edit for this maybe didn't even happen. Maybe didn't even happen. You know, maybe you just have to edit it yourself. Maybe you're just going to get 3 MP3s in the feed. Who knows?
It's like edit by numbers. You just provide the listeners all the files, and then they could just make their own show.
Remember that time that we rolled the dice and did topics based on number and you freaked out? That
I
was
thought
fun.
you were going to do that to me today.
I had thought
You
about it.
referenced it on Backstage. I know you did, because you said, don't forget. Like, and I was like, oh, here we go. So all this entire episode, I've been waiting for you to bring out a dice.
Yeah. Well, there's too much
I think at this point, it's too late.
other stuff going on. This episode of Connected is also brought to you by Capital One. At Capital One, technology makes direct deposits available up to 2 days sooner. It improves fraud defense with machine learning and helps businesses manage data challenges in the cloud with Slingshot, the first solution from Capital One software. Search technology at Capital One to learn more. Our thanks to Capital One for the support of the show and Relay FM. Capital One, what's in your wallet? WWDC, not the biggest news this week. It's just not. It's just not. Because Apple Music Classical is here, and everyone's freaking out about it.
A couple of evenings ago, I'm starting to like wind down for the day, getting ready for bed. And I grab my iPhone, I look at it, and it says, your pre-order is available. I'm like, what are you talking about? It was Apple Music Classical, baby. Midnight struck.
Nice.
And I got in, and I was super excited. I started started searching around, binging. And I found a bunch of really weird music. There's some strange, like, edge cases, I feel like, in this app. Like you imagine it's like classical music. It was like I opened it and it said, like, continue listening to the Hamilton soundtracks. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's about old things. I wouldn't call it classical. And then I just started Googling around. I found Halo for Federico. I found some Star Wars music. Hunt for Red October was in there. You know, it's all going on. It just feels like, basically, I don't know how stuff's categorized to get into Apple Music Classical, but there's also a lot of soundtracks in there too, which I actually think is good, right? Like it's good that it's not just Beethoven. Like there is stuff in there which has the same edge cases of like there was a big orchestra doing this, like what version was it? You know, like a lot of the video game music that I've found is like orchestral covers of video game music included in some thing somewhere, right? But I'll be honest, like I've poked around and I'm not the person here. Like I don't understand what people get out of this app, right? Like I know it has a bunch of metadata, but like I don't understand why any of that metadata is necessarily interesting, but like I know people care. So like I'm not saying it's bad to care. I'm just like in my looking around of the app, I don't get it. My favorite thing, and I wished I could use it for all of my music, is that it features Apple's New York font, which is my favorite font that Apple make. It's a good font. I have my file structure in Obsidian is using the New York font. Pretty cool, right?
Really? You use that in Obsidian?
I use it for the file browser.
That's
on the
a
side.
choice. Okay.
You got some sweet serifs over there, man.
Yeah,
You know?
but that's all the important stuff. And then my actual text in my notes is in San Francisco Rounded.
I like SF Rounded a lot.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
good fun.
SF Rounded. It's very comfortable on the eyes.
Yeah.
But then, like, you know, I've got like it's like, you know, it's like nice fancy like official stuff on the sidebar, and it's all in New York.
That's nice. I too lack the full appreciation of this type of music to understand this app. And I was looking around today. I was like, surely someone has reviewed this from the standpoint of, I listen to classical music, and this is what I think as an informed, mature person. Kirk McLaren wrote that over on Tidbit, so that'll be a link in the show notes.
Kirk McElhearn. It really is. This is Kirk McElhearn. Me and Jason were talking about him recently as a person at Macworld who loved classical music.
Oh.
And iTunes used to have a column about iTunes, I think.
Oh, that's why I know the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And me and Jason were talking about, I hope Kirk McElhearn writes a review because he's wanted this forever. And here it is. So this is like, for Kirk, this is like Kirk McElhearn. The Apple Music Classical Review, right? Like this is like, you know, is like the Federico style for Iowa. Like this is everything he's wanted, maybe. I don't know. I didn't see this review. I'm happy it exists. I didn't know where it'd be. I will now read it. Not now, but I will read it.
No, read it out loud. It's
okay. In the mid 2000s, I was approached by a
so it does seem like this is one of those things that's hard to evaluate unless you're in this world. You know, I feel this way. I preemptively feel this way about the headset
right
a little bit, which is why I'm glad like the two of you and John and others are spending time with the products that are out now. So collectively we can have some experience with it. Of course, we also need to talk about like what this app doesn't have, right? We've mentioned before, no iPad app, no Mac app. there's not even a CarPlay version of it, which I talked about in Mastodon, and someone replied that, well, maybe it's for like more formal listening. I think they just didn't get it done. Like, clearly this was rushed because they missed the deadline, and it's only on the iPhone. You can't tell me that was the plan all along. So,
right, but this is the thing I don't understand, though. Considering they missed the deadline, why did it need to be rushed?
Yeah,
you've already missed the deadline. A missed deadline never misses, and a deadline is missed always. That's the quote, right?
Is this what was that? Once and upon? What was that last week?
Once if upon. I actually listened back to that part of the episode last week. I think something went wrong with me.
No, your brain broke is what happened.
It was really bad, and it was very funny for me listening back. I'm doing, this is the quote from the Nintendo guy, right? A missed deadline is always missed, and a deadline not missed can always be deadlined, or something like that, right, Federico? You know video games.
It was a rushed game is forever bad. A delayed game is eventually good. Is that what you're thinking of? Yes.
Yeah. Although I heard recently that is apparently misattributed. He never said that.
Well, that's the funny thing about quotes, right?
Yeah.
Anybody can make them up. So
I think it's one of those things where like actually somebody else said it in an interview with him, but it was never actually known that he was the one who said it.
And he just nodded. And they're like, he agrees, he agrees.
He didn't agree at all. He's just going along with it. Oh, boy.
Anyway, I did play around with Apple Music Classical. Again, I'm not the guy for this type of app and service. I'm super glad they did it. Like we spoke about, I think classical music has some really unique requirements compared to pop music. And in fact, even as someone who doesn't appreciate or understand classical music enough, I'll tell you that the best screen of Apple Music Classical, which I hope Apple will consider maybe in a lighter version in the future, is the metadata screen for when you want to check out the info of the. Do you call them songs in classical music or pieces? What do you call them?
Movements?
I don't know,
man. I don't know. I'm just saying words now.
The thing you're listening to, if you tap on the info button, you get essentially a credits screen, like a metadata screen that tells you like the composer and the work and the orchestra, and all of those are clickable items. That's excellent. Like that's exactly that sort of stuff that I would like to see in Apple Music for a more general public. There are utilities for this, like for example, Music Smart. I've been using Music Smart forever. It's made by the same developer who makes Music Box and Play, excellent media utilities. And Music Smart is like an action extension that you can run as you're listening to stuff in Apple Music, and it tells you, okay, for this song from Apple Music, here's the mixing engineer and the production engineer, and here's who plays the cello, and here's who plays drums, and you can tap in on the names of these people and see more of their work. Like this sort of like metadata that can help you discover other albums or works by other people. That's lovely. Apple Music Classical has this baked in, which is good, the right thing to do for this type of music. But I would love to see a version of this eventually in Apple Music as well. I actually think that Spotify has this sort of screen, not as detailed, of course, as Music Smart. And I also think that Tidal shows you full credits for songs you're listening to.
That I think you're right, because I have a memory of you saying that was something you liked.
Yeah.
About Tidal. Is that it had that metadata in it.
They have that. I'm pretty sure they have that, yeah.
Which makes sense. Is Jack Dorsey still on that? That's the thing that happened, right?
Oh, Jack Dorsey. Yeah, that guy.
Tidal.
What is he doing now? Crypto something?
No, he's making a Twitter replacement.
Oh, yeah.
Bluebird. Bluebird?
What's it called? No, it's got a different name.
No, it's Blue
Sky?
Wave.
No, Blue Sky.
Blue Ground.
No.
Jack Dorsey, new Twitter.
Blue Twitter. Blue Block.
Blue Sky.
Someone said that already.
It's Blue Sky, y'all. Guys.
No,
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
It's right there. It's in the TechCrunch article.
On March 2nd, 2021, it was announced that financial technology company Square had reached an agreement to acquire the majority ownership.
Of Tumblr, I think, right?
No, of Tidal. What is happening?
I'm concerned about Myke lately.
What are you talking about? I was on. There's nothing. I was doing it right. I was doing it right. Stephen said Tumblr. I was just reading. What did I do?
No, I'm not concerned anymore.
Okay. Well, that was fast. I don't know if I should be happy about that. I think you
changed
got.
my mind.
I think you were concerned and then became too unconcerned.
I
too
am
quick.
very easily swayed as a person. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Why are we talking about Jack
Because
Dorsey?
he
We should be talking about this next item in the list, which my brain read as Stephen in the Wild, but it's not Stephen in the Wild.
No.
The item is labeled Shazam in the Wild.
Shazam in the Wild. This happened to me just yesterday. I was working at a coffee shop. I was kind of in between things. I had a little time, so I popped in and sitting there, doing some stuff on my laptop, enjoying a drink. And I notice across the coffee shop, a guy's holding his phone above his head. And this coffee shop has music playing in the background. Myke is the place I've taken you a bunch. You've been there, plays music.
Is it the place with the smoothies?
Yes, that
Yeah,
place.
I like that place. They do good breakfast.
It's good. So he has his, he's sitting there with someone across the table, but he has his phone up, like his arm is fully outstretched over his head. And then he notices me looking at him. We make eye contact and he like yanks his arm down. It's like, I already saw you and I know what you're doing. You're Shazamming. But I didn't go ask him because that would have made an uncomfortable situation even more uncomfortable. But he had to been Shazamming. What else could he have been doing?
Had to be.
Had to be.
I'm too slow, so this isn't funny. But like you were saying about like Stephen in the Wild. The joke that I had that came too slowly was the legend of Shazam, Stephen in the Wild. Which
Oh, that's good.
I just wanted to say it, like, so I've said it now, but I know it's not funny because I was too slow. But that's just how it goes sometimes.
If you were nicer to me, I could have like dropped that in the edit more.
It's okay because if to get that, you will then remove the joke about my. Well, you made the joke about my.
Oh yeah, no, it'd be a trade for sure.
Yeah, and so I'm not willing to trade that. I want people to hear how you are. We've been a bit crazy today, and I think we're still going to be on that kick. But this is a serious moment. Like I want to bring the mood for a moment, just to a pause, because it's something that we should talk about. Federico, do you want to talk about Alex Hay?
Alex Hay was the developer and creator of Toolbox Pro, of Logger, it was known for his GitHub repo Bookie, which is a series of tips and code for getting started with implementing shortcut actions on, if you're a developer on Apple platforms. Most people listening probably heard of Alex because of Toolbox Pro, an amazing utility for sort of enhancing shortcuts with additional actions that I first reviewed in 2019 and that I kept following over the years as sort of the example of sort of what you can do with shortcuts thanks to the native framework for actions. And Alex passed away a couple of weeks ago after a battle with cancer, unfortunately, and he was 36. And I knew that Alex wasn't doing well, because here's the thing about Alex. One of the most talented and creative and kind indie developers I've ever had the pleasure to communicate with, to work with. We never met in real life in person, but to paint you a picture, is the kind of guy that it was always open for suggestions and ideas and feature requests. And a couple of years ago, I sent him a DM on Twitter, and I'm like, hey, I was thinking about such and such feature in Toolbox Pro, and I just wanted to send you a note. And he replied after a couple of days, and he apologized. And he tells me, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You're right. I haven't gotten. Sorry for the late reply, and I haven't gotten to this feature. But work on Toolbox Pro lately has been kind of messy because I was diagnosed with cancer. And I'm like, dude, you don't need to apologize. Like that, and you know, we talked a bunch about that, and I was hoping that he was doing better. And then early last week, soon after he passed, we got a note from a close friend of his who was also in touch with his family, and I was up. It really shook me for the entire week. I was not expecting this, and it's such a tragedy, honestly. And I was hoping that he was doing better. But yeah, later I discovered that Alex had posted about 3 weeks ago on the Reddit, on the subreddit for the upcoming video game Starfield, saying, I'm very bummed that the game was delayed because I've been diagnosed with terminal cancer. I'm on palliative care at my parents' house, and I probably won't get to play this game because it's been delayed to September, I think. And later, once I read this, I was like, yeah, he knew, unfortunately. And this is such a tragedy and a huge loss in the Apple iOS automation communities. And as soon as I heard, I had the thought of, none of this idea that I had, it doesn't matter. None of this matters, in the sense that it doesn't do anything to alleviate the pain of Alex's loss. But I thought maybe we can do something to honor his memory, to make sure that people remember his name, and that his name remains known in this community, in this little thing that we do, in this small corner of humanity, that his name is out there, for what it did in this community in his lifetime. And so I thought, the least I can do is, this year's Automation April, which is an event about automation, the thing he loved. We would like to do it in his name, and as Mac Stories, donate to a couple of charities for cancer research in the US and in the UK, where he was based. We checked with his family, because obviously we wanted to have the blessing of his family. It's like, hey, can we do this? Can we have your permission to do this? And apparently, they told us, Alex was also the kind of person who, I discovered that his friends only recently found out about his side career as an iOS developer. It's and he was so humble and kind. It's he never bragged about it, because he had a main job as sort of a documentary editor, I think. And so, yeah, I just wanted to talk about this for a couple of minutes here. We can and we should get serious on this show when needed. Alex was a friend and a developer I loved working with, and the creator of one of the most incredible indie utilities I've seen in recent years. So if you were a user of one of his apps, or a developer who found his work for the Bookie repo useful, and spare thought for Alex, if you can. And as we wrote on Mac Stories, as John wrote it in Mac Stories, I couldn't bring myself to write the post myself. I'm not good with these things. I'm not good.
Understandably.
Yeah, I mean, but as John wrote, if you want, we encourage you. If you can donate to a cancer charity, whatever it is, it's always a good time to donate to charities. But hey, that's
never a bad time.
It's never a bad time.
Yeah.
But it's also human nature to be touched by these things when they hit close to you. There's nothing wrong about admitting that, the way we are built as people. So yeah, if you can do it, if you cannot do it, it's fine. But just it's important to remember Alex Hay, great developer who we lost way, way too soon.
This isn't important at all in the grand scheme of what we're talking about here. And I'd say this with, nothing but the most respect for Alex's work and life and everything. But do you know what's going to happen to his apps? Like, is there anything that can happen?
We are actually in touch with this friend of Alex, who told us about his passing, and he said, I am going to look into whether we can do anything with his code, whether he left any instructions, whether there's anything we can do to make sure that this all of this doesn't go to waste, and if we can maybe find a new home for Toolbox Pro at the very least, arguably the most popular of his apps. And also because like Toolbox Pro was sort of Alex knew what he was doing with the shortcuts framework.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the kind of product that at the very least, if they can find a way, if Alex's friends and family can find a way to at the very least open source it, maybe I wouldn't know, right? It's not my call, not my decision, but I hope it doesn't go to waste. But yes, it's a conversation that we're having.
Yeah. Because, that is his legacy.
Yeah.
Like I know if I can't speak for him, but I know if I was in that situation, I would want people to still be able to enjoy my work. I mean, obviously you still can, right? But at a certain point, these apps will stop working, which again leads into one of like the very long ongoing conversations we've had on the show about preservation of software, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been talking about it forever, and now we're facing very closely this problem.
As time goes on, these problems only occur more and more. And I mean, I would love to know. I don't know if anybody knows if is there a provision for this? Like, has Apple made any tools for this for developer accounts?
I have no idea. Like legacy contacts for developer accounts? I don't know.
Because I know from people that have tried to sell apps that's almost impossible to do the transfer. So yeah, anyway, that's not important. Rest in peace, Alex Hay.
Yeah.
You made a mark on this community, right? And nothing but love for everybody who's affected.
This episode of Connected is made possible by fast-growing trees. Breathe some life into your own backyard with fastgrowingtrees.com this spring. From shade trees to fresh fruit, privacy, natural beauty, let fastgrowingtrees.com help you plant your dream garden with their expert advice and fast, reliable shipping. Fastgrowingtree.com's plant experts curate thousands of easy-to-grow plant, shrub, and tree variants for your unique climate. Lemons to evergreens, everything in between. A lot of us want nice greenery around our homes, but it can be hard to know which plants will do best where we are. But Fast Growing Trees have these customized recommendations based on your specific needs. And their plant experts are always available to help keep your plants growing healthy through the season and beyond. So there's no more waiting in long lines or hauling heavy plants around. You can just order online and your plants arrive at your door in just a few days. We ordered a couple of plants through Fast Growing Trees, and it really was cool. We told them where we were, what our climate was like, how much sun we got in the areas we were thinking about planting, and just a few days later, they arrived on our doorstep safe and sound. And with Fast Growing Trees' 30-day Alive and Thrive guarantee, you know everything is going to look great. So join the over 1.5 million happy Fast Growing Tree customers by going to fastgrowingtrees.com/connected. You will get 15% off your entire order at that page. So once again, that's fastgrowingtrees.com/connected for 15% off. Our thanks to Fast Growing Trees for their support of the show and Relay FM.
How great is it to have a tree sponsor? You know what I mean?
It's really cool.
Is it literally like, do you like is it like literally like a tree sponsoring?
Yeah, well, no, it's not like an actual tree, but you can get trees.
Like when you booked this sponsorship, did you talk to a bunch of trees?
No, I can't.
Interesting.
Well, I didn't do it, but I'm assuming there were people that dealt it. Well, how would you know? It's all by email.
Yeah, exactly. Might as well be a tree hooked up to ChatGPT or something.
ChatGPT tree.
Ooh, okay. Anyway, 16.4, Ventura 3.3, WatchOS 9.4. Let's see if I can get this right. tvOS
something 0.4.
16.4,
0.4.
iPadOS 16.4, HomePod software update.
Is that the version number? The version numbers on my
It's
software update?
16.4.
16.4.
Okay. Oh, I like the I think there at the end. You said
Apple
it so
Studio Display
convincingly.
firmware update 16.4. No, wait. That's all. That's all of them.
There was also Big Sur 11.7.5.
All right.
That's not that important for this.
Big Sur.
Okay. All of these are out.
Mm-hmm.
Available as of yesterday. In fact, we are already on the next cycle of the beta.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that in a minute. So, we spoke about the highlights of this before. New emoji, right? New emoji everywhere.
Yeah.
Goose emoji is the best emoji. The rest of them, like Adina said to me, what are the good emojis? And I showed her the image, and I'm like, really? None of them. Goose is good.
Goose is good.
Shaking face is weird.
Shaking face has potential, I think.
But I don't know what for. It's a weird emoji, right?
It's
a weird one.
It's blurry because it's shaking.
Weird that it's blurry. I don't like that it's blurry.
Yeah. Well, otherwise, how do you convey the shaking?
Wait,
Anyway,
I'm gonna try something here. So I'm gonna send you all shaking.
Oh, no. Don't do it. You're going to do it where it's like the one that flies around.
No, shaking face emoji with the loud. Oh, that's a good combo.
where did you just
with
send
the
it?
loud message effect?
You send it
Ooh,
to
it shakes. Yes,
with
it
John.
seems like
Yeah.
it's shaking.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's actually there's the combo. You should only when I look at it though, right, and it's big, it makes me feel like I don't have my glasses on, and that doesn't make me feel.
It's like a pre-retina emoji.
like because this is what things look like when I don't wear my glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like I can see everything fine, but it's all just got like a blurry mist to it. So that's a very strange.
Wow, your
feeling.
eyes are terrible.
They're not that bad. But like, we did it. We did the Jeremys, right? But like the one flower they added, what was it, hyacinth? Was that the flower? It's like, why that one flower?
Yes, that was the one. I said lavender and it wasn't lavender. So it was.
And it's like, why just ginger? Like the additions are strange now. They're just weird.
Gruber is right on Daring Fireball that we're getting these strange additions like ginger and hyacinth and multiple hands, but there's still no chef's kiss emoji. I mean, come on.
But you can make that work though. Like I don't know why people need that. It's just two emoji. You just combine them. You just said two emoji.
But it's imagine like a little Italian chef doing the kiss, with the lips. Like it would be funnier.
Yeah, but like. Why, if it's Italian, is it not like is it not culturally insensitive?
No, and we don't care about cultural insensitivity here. We just, I think as a people, we're okay with the jokes and the stereotypes.
That's a super bold thing to say. You know what I mean?
Well, I like to speak for my country.
You speak for all of Italy.
I like to speak for all Italians in this moment. We are
the
okay
representative
with the
of
memes.
the Italian delegation.
I mean, come on! Is it offensive if the chef's kiss, like the little chef in, like for example, the chef's kiss quote unquote emoji that I'm looking at in Discord right now? You've seen this fake emoji, right, in other places. Like, is it offensive that as the little Italian mustache? It's fine.
I can't personally comment on whether that is an Italian moustache or not.
I mean, that's
you're the one applying it to the Italian people.
Oh, so I'm the offensive.
But that's
one.
fine. Federico, I think, can do it. I can't say it.
Okay, but you thought about it. You can be honest.
This is moving into a territory that I don't want to be in anymore.
Yes, but we agree. The goose emoji is the best one. My daughter loves it. She keeps sending it to me.
That was good.
Oh, I could do a better one. Hold on. I could,
It sounds like it hurts. Let's hear yours, Federico.
No. I cannot do it.
The dogs go wild,
I cannot do it.
There are some other things that we haven't mentioned in depth. Notifications for web apps on the home screen for iOS and iPadOS. Federico, how do you turn these on? Where do you find them? I tried playing with this and couldn't. Maybe I wasn't using a website that supported it yet, but
that is the answer to your question. You got to use a web app that you can add to the home screen and that wants to send you notifications from the web.
So this feels like a thing I'm never going to want, but something's going to find its way in. Right?
There's one site that I want it for, but they didn't seem to offer it.
What is
Which is?
The Apple Newsroom.
Oh, yeah. So
because they used to be in Apple News in a way where you could have Apple News send you a notification, and that's not true anymore. And so it's very sad.
I'm guessing that if you go to I don't know if Mac Rumors and 95Mac support web push notifications and on mobile as well. But in theory, if you add one of those websites to the home screen and you request the notifications, you should be prompted. However, so there's an important difference here. Even if a website supports web push notifications, you will not get the prompt in Safari on iOS and iPadOS. You need to add the web app to your home screen first. And that's because those web apps that get added to the home screen, once you get prompted for allowing push notifications, it means you will see that app in the focus settings, in just the general settings app, because it becomes tied to an app identity. There's no system right now to say manage push notifications in Safari for iPhone, like you can in Safari for Mac, right? So you need to add them to the home screen first. And to test this out, I tried this service called alerty.dev, which is a little web service that can send you push notifications via an API. It's similar to pushover, pushcut, like these sort of services where you can program your own push notifications. This one, you can install as a web app on your iPhone. And once you do, and you log in with your account, the send me notifications button will start working because the app detects, okay, I see that I've been saved as a web app on the home screen. Therefore, now I can ask the user for notification access. So that's the one.
They are very on this. Like their website has imagery of that happening today.
Yeah.
They're very on this from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah, the developer actually reached out to me on Mastodon. Otherwise, I had no idea that this service existed. I was like, this is perfect for...
This is a good enterprising individual.
Yes. This is perfect for what I needed to prepare for this article. And I actually think I'm going to do a couple of shortcuts in this week's newsletter.
No.
Yeah.
Shortcuts you? No.
Doesn't sound right.
I know. You're surprised. And you should be. And you should be, because I hate shortcuts. You should be surprised.
Whoa, hang on.
No, he's all about the
Federico,
serious
we're recording
shortcuts.
right now.
I never expected... No, but seriously, yes. I'm going to do a few shortcuts.
Here's a question for y'all. Would you implement something like this on your own websites? Relay, FM, or Mac Stories?
Mac Stories used to have web push notifications, and
No
then
way.
I realized, years ago, like 8 years ago or something.
This
And-
is like in the idea that like used to be in Flipboard, used to be
Yes.
in Apple News, right? Like there are
Yes.
these things you just try them. You don't know, do you? You just try
Yes,
them. You
and-
don't know what's going to catch on.
Yes, exactly. But then I realized, okay, first, we're no longer the type of website where you're like, oh, I need to be super up to date on what Mac Stories is publishing. You know, like most
I
people,
would like it.
most people, they just open Mac Stories, but like maybe at the end of the workday or maybe during the lunch break, and they're like, okay, let me see what's new on the homepage.
It's my homepage, son.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you. But that's not necessary. Like, we're not 9 to 5 Mac or The Verge, like pushing out 20 stories a day and be like, okay, it's actually useful to be alerted by, the latest rumor.
I would say that would make more sense to have notifications.
Interesting perspective. Okay, we will do notifications because you told me this.
Thank you.
I told
if
you I'm
wouldn't
easily
mind.
swayed as a person. So.
And I will turn them on. Just for you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate
Stephen,
that.
I do not want, under any circumstances, to the Relay FM website to send web notifications.
Well,
to
why
any people.
though? Why? I mean, I could tell you the same thing. People want to know when you're live.
Yeah, but only 5 shows record live.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, really, we want people listening live to be in the Discord, and the Discord can notify
And the
you.
Discord can notify people
That's a
if you
good
sign
point.
up for that role in Discord. And the most important thing we do is publish podcast, and your podcast app will notify you when there's new shows. And so I feel like we're covered otherwise.
We don't want people on the website. We want people to subscribe to the shows. Like the website, like for us, it's kind of funny. One of the best things that can happen is we have a high bounce rate. We have a high bounce rate. It usually means people have come to the website, they've got what they wanted, and they're gone, and we never see them again. Like that's fine.
And we don't even have analytics anymore on the site, so who knows what's
Exactly.
happening.
Things going wild over there.
I know. Yeah. Chat GPT's all up in us, doing stuff.
It is too, like you ask it some questions, it pulls some very silly things.
A couple of other things in iOS and iPadOS: voice isolation for cellular calls. That has been something available in voice over IP apps, but it's buried in Control Center, and it's only available when you're on a phone call. Maybe they're not sure of this, so they're kind of like, soft launching it in Control Center, but it seems like an odd placement to me. I have not used this. I assume it sounds amazing.
The podcast app got a bunch of new features, so it's got support for channels, so you can like find a channel like Relay FM, and you can put it in the app, and you can find everything there.
Okay.
Improvements to Up Next.
Can
CarPlay,
I
stuff
say
like
something about the podcast
that. Yeah,
app?
you sure can. Please do.
Okay, so the podcast app, I really want to use it, but like I need to convince whoever needs to be convinced at Apple that they gotta take their, and I'm gonna say existing feature for trimming silence. All right, they have this feature built already, and you know where? In voice memos. They have this feature in voice memos, along with an audio enhancement feature, also in voice memos. So hear me out, Apple Podcasts, as you know, hear me out, Apple Podcasts boss. Take those 2 features, which someone already built, bring them over to the podcast app. Hundreds of thousands of nerds like me will switch to podcasts if you do. Like, this is literally the only reason why I'm using Pocket Casts, but it could also
I would consider it. Like I would realistically consider it. That's the one thing. Now.
And here's my pitch. Okay, look, life, okay, is busy. Life is just busy. You got maybe you have kids, you have pets, maybe you just bought a home. You want to travel. There's plenty of stuff coming out on Apple TV Plus.
And also listening at 1.5, 2x, 3x monsters do that.
No,
Monsters.
It's unnatural. Who does that?
No. I disagree. If you want to listen to me however you want.
You should see the things. You should hear the things Stephen says in private.
You should hear me with this accent, Stephen, at 3x, and you're going to change your mind. You should hear me with this accent, Stephen, at 3x, and you're going to change your mind.
If you don't want me at my 1x, you don't deserve me at my 3x.
Wow, I love that. So what I'm saying is life is busy, right? There's plenty of media choices out there. But I want to listen to my podcast. And when I listen to my podcast, I want to save a bit of time, if possible, without making the hosts sound like, really fast-talking people. So trim silence and magic volume, call it whatever you want to call it. Call it magic silence and magic audio. I don't know. Make up the name. But audio effects in Apple Podcasts, I mean, everything else about it, I really like. The channels, the UI, it's fast. It looks nice. It's got chapters. It works really well on the Apple Watch. It's got shortcuts integration, which I like. It's got Siri integration, which I like. Like, everything about it is perfect except the actual listening. So, audio effects is my pitch for Apple Podcast boss.
A couple other just quick things. You can upgrade your HomeKit app architecture again. That's back. And in iMessage, Mastodon links are rich with previews.
I haven't seen this yet, but I'm happy that it exists.
You haven't seen it yet.
I don't think so.
I'm going to send you a Mastodon right now.
Send me a Mastodon. Send me a Don. Don me up.
I'll don you up.
Don me up.
I'm putting it in our group chat right there. See?
I'm still too scared to upgrade the whole map architecture, though. I ain't doing it.
I did it the first time,
I will-
and it's been fine.
I will do it eventually, but I ain't doing it
Yeah,
yet.
mine's been
Let me
fine.
see. Oh, look at that. That's like a tweet.
Yeah. But,
That's good.
open source or whatever.
That's good. Is it open source? Is it open source?
I don't know. Mastodon has a CEO, but it's federated. I don't know how it works.
Federated CEO. That guy is the CEO of all of our instances, whether we like it or not. That's how it works. That's what it means.
Wait, really?
That's what they won't tell you. That's what the Fedi friends won't tell you. Is that person is all of our CEO. That's how that works. Did you read the terms of service? Don't think so.
Can I be fired from my own instance?
Yeah.
Yep.
By
That guy owns Mac Stories
by the
now.
Fedi guy?
Fedi fired.
By Fedio.
By the Fedio?
By the Fedio.
Yeah. He's the new Federico Vitici.
Fedio Rico. That's what you don't know. That's what they won't tell you.
Who's they?
Exactly.
The Fedi friends.
The Fedi friends. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Who is they?
Real quick, can I run through the rest of the updates?
Why do we take a break?
No, it's not soon enough. We just took one.
No, but just do it after the break. But after the break, do it real quick.
Okay, I'll do the break, and then I'm going to speed run watchOS 9.4 and macOS.
Okay, thank you.
Love it.
Love it. Yeah.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by SetApp. With all the tools available to us now, looking for something new to improve the way that we work can feel like drowning in an ocean of different apps and services. There are just so many things on the market right now, and honestly, not all of them are worth our time and money. And what's more, many of us are paying for apps and services that we never really properly integrated into our workflows. We've all experimented with apps and ended up paying for them and then sort of walk away. So how do you know which apps are worth trying without emptying your wallet on subscriptions that you might forget to cancel? The answer, my friends, is SetApp, a platform that combines more than 230 powerful Mac and iOS apps and tools under one $9.99 subscription. Their selection of apps is super helpful for people who use their Macs to get work done, covering use cases like coding, designing, project, time management, and more. Once you're subscribed, you get full access to all paid features of all of these apps, as well as new apps that are constantly being added to SetApp. So you'll always be sure that you're not missing out on anything that can actually help you get your work done more efficiently, all for just a fraction of the price. SetApp is a smart way to get apps for people who create value with the help of their Apple devices. It takes away the pain of looking up, comparing, buying, and managing separate apps. And they partner with some of the world's best developers to handpick the most trustworthy and advanced paid apps for SetApp. I love the care that goes into it. The fact there's a team of people looking at these apps, curating them, making sure that all the features and everything are there. That care is important to me. And I think that a lot of us Mac users care about that sort of thing too. And it's a great reason to try SetApp. SetApp even makes sure to remove outdated tools to keep their collection up to date. If you have a complex task to solve, you can delve into their app collections. And for peace of mind, every app is updated automatically with no annoying ads to distract you, and you can install and uninstall apps with a single click. Something that macOS should do, but it doesn't, so SetApp does it for you. Check out SetApp today and try it out for 7 days for free. Just go to stpp.co/connected. The link is in the show notes, but once again, it is stpp.co/connected. And there you will get a free 7-day trial. SetApp powers you up. Our thanks to SetApp for their support of the show and Relay FM. Okay, on watchOS 9.4, wake-up alarms are no longer silenced by covering the watch with your hand. You can do that if someone calls you or alarm goes off. In sleep mode, you don't want to do that with your wake-up alarm because that's how you wake up an hour late, 30 minutes before your podcast starts.
This is one of those bugs that, Why now? Why is it fixed now? Right? Like, it's not like this is a new behavior. Like, it's very interesting to me.
Someone was late to a meeting, I guess.
Tim Cook missed a meeting, and he is real mad about it.
That dude gets up at like 4 a.m. You know, he didn't miss a meeting.
Not
he
if
missed
his
the
Apple
gym.
Watch alarm doesn't go off.
Do you think he goes to sleep with the headset now?
I hope not.
Maybe
It seems uncomfortable to sleep in. Anyways, also in watchOS 9.4, cycle tracking and AFib history is available in more countries. See the links in the show notes for details there. macOS got a bunch of this other stuff that we've already talked about already, but also included within it a Studio Display update. This was the first time I've been able to update a Studio Display, and a couple of notes.
Oh.
It took longer than the Ventura update took on my MacBook Pro.
Yeah, it's not great.
And it's really weird because like everything tells you do not unplug for the display from the computer. Like, okay, I get that. And you get these little like white dots on the screen because like it's just a reminder to me that my display is actually an iOS computer, which is still very strange.
I don't like when updates tell me not to power off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's scary. It's like, well, but what if the power goes out now?
Do you guys remember that I did this to an Apple Watch? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. No, I thought you pulled it off the charger too early.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like the same idea, right? Like, don't take it off power. Like, it was updating and I didn't know, and I just took it off the charger. I don't think this happens anymore, by the way. And then it killed the Apple Watch completely. I had to go in and get it all, like, I'd go to the Genius Bar, I had to do the whole 9 yards. Like, there's nothing you can do about it, or could do about it then. Very annoying.
So those are all the updates. You would think, well, WWDC is right around the corner. Surely there's nothing else this year, but mere hours later, the iOS 16.5 and Ventura 13.4, along with tvOS, HomePod, all the other stuff, betas released. Federico, what is involved in this groundbreaking new release?
Nothing.
There's something.
There's two things that the people have noticed. There's a new My Sports tab in Apple News where you can see all the sports in Apple News.
I like it. It's about time.
You can see schedules, scores, and sports in the My Sports tab in Apple News. No, but seriously, I mean, I'm not a sports people. If you are, it's probably great for you.
Sports people. I'm not a sports people.
This I remember a concept for this a while back.
Here's the thing that I'm confused about. Wasn't this in the WWDC keynote? Didn't they talk about this?
Yeah, it's just now coming
Wait,
out.
what? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Right. So I'm not losing it here. Like, they've been slowly adding this in, but my understanding was that, like, in the news app there was going to be a place for all of the sports things that you subscribe to. Right. So okay, I thought, like, this isn't new, but there you go.
It's weird because if I remember the WC keynote correctly, news was going to be like the hub of the My Sports stuff. But the TV app has had some of that for a long time, and more of it more recently in this cycle. There's still not like a central place for all your sports stuff. So hopefully Apple News does that. This will be a reason for me to reinstall Apple News because I taken it off my device a long time ago. But I'm hopeful that they can do this well, because there are other apps obviously that do this. There are apps that do live activities. Sports Alerts is one that I like, but having it kind of all in one place where, like, okay, you could tie all the information together. You could pull in news stories. It could be a simple link out to like TV Plus stuff. I'm hopeful they're finally kind of getting all their ducks in a row here.
Also, you can ask Siri to start a screen recording.
Yes.
Huge.
In 16.5.
Yes.
But again, this is one of those features of like, but why in 16.5? Like, why?
Haven't you ever found yourself just having a conversation with Siri and be like, hey, buddy, start recording the screen?
But why in 16.5? Like, why is this not in 17? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when is this coming out? Why is it now? It's very confusing to me. Because
when you're wearing the headset, you should be able to start a screen recording via your voice.
Right. Well, the headset's not going to be coming out at 16.5, is it?
Well, that's your opinion, isn't it?
So you think Apple's headset?
No, man, I don't know what to think.
It's just interesting. Like, why? It's just
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm just making things up as I go.
That's podcasting,
I don't
baby.
know. I genuinely have no idea why these features ship now.
It is strange, but I'm not sure I had it at the top of my list of things I wish Siri could do. But, they got to compete somehow.
Oh, yeah, this is the way to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Take that, Bing. We'll start screen recordings with our voices.
Start screen recording.
Okay, the accidental Siri firing that we all have, right? We all accidentally trigger Siri. I got an email from somebody. Apparently, I triggered it on a show a few weeks ago, which I'm sorry for. It's one thing to I don't know, Siri starts talking to you, but what if you pick your phone up and it's been screen recording for 4 hours when it's on your desk? That's going to be great. It's going to be great. Aren't you excited?
I have a problem with Siri, similarly in these veins right now, where I'm talking to someone and it happens to me very often. I'm using my AirPods and it's okay, or working on it. I'm I don't know what I've just asked, right? And then I have to take my AirPods out in horror that someone's getting a text that I don't, and I never feel like it never tells me what it's done, but it's telling me it's doing a thing, but I don't know what that thing was, right? And that is terrifying to me as a process. And you may say, Myke, just turn off Siri on your AirPods, but I actually do use it too, so I don't want to.
Can I air an AirPod complaint?
You can air
Is while we're here.
pod a grievance.
If I walk or run or go for a bike ride or whatever, I will listen to one AirPod because I have a strong aversion to being hit by a car. And I feel like if I can hear the car, maybe I can get out of the way in time.
Transparency mode, man.
I do that all the time. I do that all the time. No, just the one AirPod. I do this when I walk the dogs. Usually I listen.
You got to listen.
You gotta listen. Usually, because even with the transparency mode, the finer noises, sometimes I don't know. Maybe it's my problem with age, but I do this all the time, just one ear, and it's usually I'm listening to Myke when I do this.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm too much for both ears.
Yes, as I was saying.
We can see you in the Zoom. That's wild.
Federico just turned his camera on.
I don't know why
Zoom.
I did this. I don't know what I clicked.
What I like is he did it and then he got
Hey.
confused
look at
and
this.
thrown off.
Look at this. No, I was thinking about what you said. Hi. Look at you, Myke. Anyway, this is not a video podcast. We are against video podcasts.
Anti-video podcast for the reason of everything that just happened, that we all turned our video cameras on and then got lost looking at each other for a minute.
So yes, when I walk the dogs, just one AirPod because I don't feel safe wearing two, even with the transparency mode. Oh, I didn't think this was something worth confessing, Stephen.
Yes. What were we talking about? Okay, so I listened
You
to
were
one.
airing a grievance.
Airing and AirPodding a grievance.
AirPodding a grievance.
But sometimes I need to change what ear has the AirPod. Right. So if I'm going on a bike ride, I always ride with traffic because that's the way you're supposed to do it. Riding against traffic is incredibly dangerous. Go with traffic. And
Traffic.
but if I'm walking or running, sometimes I'm not going with traffic because I'm on the sidewalk, right? Depending on where I'm going, I need to be on one side or the other. And I want the open ear, the natural ear, to be towards the street. So again, if a car is
Yes.
going to hit me, I can hear it coming.
Right.
Right? Federico, we're on the same page with this.
Yes.
Here's the twofold problem. One, so I'm listening, pull out my AirPod case, I put the AirPod in my empty ear and take the other one out and put it back in the case.
Yes.
Audio will stop on my phone. Even though my order of operation, I always had an AirPod in 100% of the time, it stops the audio. So then I have to pull my phone out of my pocket or go to now playing on my watch and restart the audio.
Yeah, no, this is the right way to do it.
Why?
Because people that wear their AirPods the way they're supposed to be worn, which is both, if you take one out, you want it to pause.
But
Right.
I'm not doing that.
But then if
I'm
you
not
put
doing
in
that.
the other, but that it's just swapping them basically.
Right, but you said you put one, right, you put one in, so you got both in, then you take one out, right? So it's treating it like it's me, where I have both AirPods in, I'm taking one out, and it's pausing it.
I see what you're saying.
Now, what you could do is turn that feature off, and then it won't do that anymore.
Is that an option somewhere? I should look at that.
Ear detection.
Okay, I may do that because
I don't know what else that might mess up,
who knows?
but it might mess some other things up, but you should try that. I think it's ear detection. You turn that off. The reason this happens is because people that wear AirPods like me, it's the old idea, like you take the iPod, do you take it out, take it out and it stops. Was that a thing that the iPod headphones did or no?
I don't know.
An AirPod thing? Did it have sensors in them? I don't think so.
Anyways, so on the 5th gen iPod and later, you could unplug the headphones from the iPod and the iPod would stop. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, which is a bit more aggressive
It is.
of a thing than what I'm suggesting. If you threw your iPod at the wall, the music would stop.
Eventually, yeah. If you sink your iPod in a lake. So the other thing that I've run into, and I have been on the beta, so maybe it's fixed on the 16.4.
Did you file the feedback?
Maybe it's fixed on the 16.4 final build, although I doubt it is when I do this little maneuver, the dreaded "you've left your AirPods behind" notification has come back.
Weird.
So it's like I'm walking down the street, right? And 5 minutes later, it's like, oh, you left an AirPod 3 blocks behind you. No, I didn't. It's in my pocket.
Oh, that's weird.
Maybe
weird.
maybe that was just a bug in the beta, but
Yeah, that sounds like a bug.
I
Well, that is a bug.
noticed something with the left behind alerts the other day. I started downloading the beta when I was home, but then I needed to leave. And iOS was doing the preparing process.
Yeah.
It was like the beta had been downloaded, but the phone was preparing for the beta to be installed. And so I start driving, and so I put my phone on the MagSafe car holder that I have. I'm wearing the Apple Watch, right? Phone turns off, starts rebooting. After like a minute, and I wasn't thinking about it, I get a notification on my Apple Watch. It's like, you left your phone behind. And for a second, I'm like, oh my God, I left the phone in Viterbo at Silva's house. And then I'm literally driving.
That's pretty great.
I look at my phone, I was like, no, wait, the phone is there, like in front of me. It's rebooting.
Because that's just like, it's lost. It doesn't know anymore, right? It doesn't know where it is.
It doesn't know anymore. It doesn't know.
yeah,
anymore.
according to it, the phone just disappeared, right? So I was like, well, I better tell him. I better tell somebody.
Maybe that only works in the case of an update. Because like, if it's off, it's like still on, right? Like it's still transmitting Bluetooth information.
Yeah, I don't know how this stuff works, but
Because that's how one of the Find My thing works. Is like, Find My still works even for devices off.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is like that similar thing to, I don't know if we mentioned it when we were talking earlier about the buttons, that there'll be like a low power chip that powers those capacitive buttons that they're going to add. Which is, I guess, somewhat similar to how like the phone keeps time and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine if they have some really low power silicon thing that it adopts some of those other functions as well. Kind of like the motion coprocessor was used for multiple things. Now they don't even talk about it anymore. Really, it's just like, I guess it's still in there doing its thing. But that's Apple software story. The train never stops. City never sleeps. The betas just keep coming. If you want to find links to stuff we spoke about this week, head on over to the website, relay.fm/connected/443. They're also in your podcast app you're listening to us in right now. A couple links I want to draw your attention to. First is submitted feedback. You can send us feedback or follow up via this awesome little web form. You can keep it anonymous if you want, if you have secrets you want to tell us. And those go into the show each and every week. I read those basically every day. I got a little bookmark. I go read everyone's feedback. I love it. You can also become a member and get Connected Pro, which is a longer ad-free version of the show each and every week. This week, we are following up on a long-time story of Federico dealing with some studio display stuff in his setup. That's coming in the Pro show this week. It's been fun to follow along with that. You can find us all online. You can find Federico at macstories.net. We are just days away from Automation April starting, which is really awesome.
Yes.
Pumped.
And the contest is about to start, and there's going to be surprise prizes.
Ooh.
Surprises.
Surprises, yes.
Surprises.
There we go, yes.
In Auto April.
Nope, No, yes.
Autumn April?
Automation April.
Autumn April.
Automation.
April-mation.
You can find Federico on Mastodon, mastodon.macstories.net. He's Vitici over there. Myke is the host of a bunch of other shows here on Relay FM, and he's the co-founder of Cortex Brand. Go check out what they're doing. Lots of great products over there. And you can find him online as iMyke over at myke.social. You can find me on Mac Power Users every Sunday here on Relay FM. And I also write over at 512pixels.net. And you can find me on Mastodon at eworld.social. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week. They are Squarespace, Capital One, Fast Growing Trees, and SetApp. And until next week, y'all, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Cheerio.
Bye, y'all.